we expect the energy demand to come this year with about 8%. And the pandemic will have lasting imprints on how we use energy going forward. And we expect energy demand to fluctuate between 6 to 8% compared to pre-COVID levels. And CO2 emissions have already peaked in 2019. And the pandemic has brought forward peak emissions by roughly 5 years. But even with that peak CO2 emissions behind us and the flattening energy demand in front of us, the world is not on track to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement. So human suffering aside, you can say that the pandemic has sized the problem. We need to repeat the CO2 emission reductions that we have seen this year, each year for the next 30 years. And we can't empty the airliners twice, so we need to look for more lasting and sustainable emission reductions.
Remi, are we talking about a degrowth scenario here, or actually a better way of using energy? Because if it's the former, that is incredibly worrying, of course, for many people who are looking to see an economic resumption over the medium term. And I just don't see how the latter could be the case either necessarily, given the fact that people's energy uses, whether it's on online deliveries or using their servers a lot more, these consume a hell of a lot of energy in their own way.
Yeah, but the point is that we will start to use energy much more efficient going forward. And the key point here is electrification. And we foresee electrification more than doubling over the next 30 years. So we'll start to use energy a lot more easier. So the world economy will grow. And the population we will have in 2050 will consume about the same amount of energy that the population consumes today. So we will be much more efficient in using the way we use energy and also the way we produce energy. So that's a key point in our forecast. Can
I just draw your attention to a report from the Danish Ministry of Finance, which I'm sure you'll be very familiar with. I mean, it's news in the last sort of 24, 48 hours. But what they imply is that the cost of switching to EVs and getting to 1 million EVs in Denmark would almost be prohibitively expensive for the Danish welfare system. It raises all sorts of new red flags, Remi, it seems to me, about the ability of countries at a time when budgets are already very constrained to meet those deadlines that are set up according to the Paris Agenda.
Yeah, but I think we have seen very good progress in electrification and things that can be electrified. And light cars is an efficient way of using the electricity. It's 3 times more efficient than a fossil fuel car. And so the key points going forward is to move on with doing the good things that we are doing that can be electrified and cars can be electrified. The attention now needs to be directed towards what cannot be electrified very easily. And we are then talking about the hard-to-abate sectors. And I'm here talking about high heat processes like in iron and steel making and manufacturing, innovation and in shipping. That's where we need to see more progress going forward. When it comes to EVs, I think we have seen great progress in many countries, and this is going just to accelerate in the next 10 years.